Welcome. This is Uhfgood, and you've been watching me read a wiki book, which is pretty boring. But when we get into the tutorial part, maybe let's reset that. Uh, maybe I'll be able to convert 2.5 Blender 2.5 stuff to Blender 2.8, or at least it may be interesting to try it anyways. So this is some cool stuff here. That's weird. I can't look at that picture because it's going to... Dang it. Oh well. We can only look at these pictures from here because clicking on them actually takes it to the Blender website. And the Blender website is quite a bit different from here, so the links are probably different. I don't know how old these are. These might not be that old. These might be newer-ish. But I can't, I guess, click on it because it's archived. Like if I do this, see, it opened the window, but it doesn't open the image. So, anyways, that's okay. That's kind of expected. So, next module, 3D geometry. Ooh, 3D geometry. 3D. Ooh. 3D. Okay. Enough of that. And I don't know if you can tell because the microphone on this webcam is pretty good, so you normally hear the fan and the air conditioner. But right now you're probably hearing the rain, and it's raining right now. Of course, we're in Florida. In Florida, it rains a lot, so it's probably actually pretty warm outside, but it's raining right now. So that's what you're probably hearing in the background. Anyways, if you haven't previously studied 3D graphics, technical drawing, or analytic geometry, you're about to learn a new way of visualizing the world, an ability that's fundamental to working with Blender or any 3D modeling tool. 3D modeling is based on geometry, the branch of mathematics concerned with spatial relationships, specifically analytical geometry, which expresses these relationships in terms of algebraic formulas. If you have studied geometry, some of the terminology will be familiar. Now, I haven't really studied, in fact, when I was in high school, that's the only school I took. I didn't go to any college or anything. But I played around with the POV, ray tracer, and various things, and I tried to learn a little bit about 3D. I read some books like Michael Braz's Graphics Programming Black Book, and so I'm sort of familiar with 3D terminology. I mean, I'm still a noob as pretty much everything's concerned, but at least I'll kind of have an idea what they're talking about. So so yeah, I'm not completely noob, but I'm mostly noob. If that makes any sense. And okay. In any case, let's plug on, shall we? Coordinates and coordinate systems. Look around the room you're in. The odds are it will have a cuboidal shape. 4 vertical walls at right angles to each other, a flat horizontal floor, and a flat horizontal ceiling. Now imagine there's a fly buzzing around the room. The fly is moving in 3-dimensional space. In mathematical terms, that means the position within the room at any given moment can be expressed in terms of a unique combination of 3 numbers. There are an infinite number of ways, coordinate systems, in which we can come up with a convention for defining and measuring these numbers, i.e. the coordinates. Each convention will yield different values even if the fly is in the same position. Coordinates only make sense with reference to a specific coordinate system. To narrow down the possibilities in purely arbitrary fashion, let's label the walls in the room the points of the compass. In a clockwise direction, north, east, south, and west. If you know which way is really north, feel free to use that label to label the walls of your room. Otherwise, choose any wall as you like as north. And I guess I'll be choosing the one in front of me as north, even though it's not technically north, which is okay. Just because I'm facing it. Consider the point at floor level in the southwest corner of the room. We will call this arbitrary point the origin of our coordinate system, And the three numbers at this point will be 0, 0, 0. The first three numbers will be the distance in some suitable units, let's say meters, eastwards from the west wall. The second number will be the distance from the north, from the south wall. And the third number will be the height above the floor. Each of these directions is called an axis, or plural axes. They're conventionally labeled X, Y, and Z, because I'm American and we say Z, we don't say Z. Actually, I don't care if you say Z. But, you know, for B, I don't say bed. For C, I don't say said. For D, I don't say dead. E, I don't say ed. A, B, C, D, E, F. G, I don't say Jed. H, I, J. Also, I don't say Jed for J. No, because that wouldn't be, that's J, that's not G. G, but I don't say Jed for G. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. I don't say ped. Q, R, S, T. I don't say Ted. U, V, I don't say ved. W, X, Y, and Z. I don't say Z, I say Z. That's what makes sense to me. So, ooh, thunder. And frankly, I don't care if you say Z. It sounds kind of cool when somebody says Z anyways. I just say Z because that's, you know, I'm American, that's the way I'm brought up. So, Z it is. For me. X, Y, and Z in that order. With a little bit of thought, you should be able to convince yourself that every point within the space of your room corresponds to exactly one set of X, Y, Z values. And that every possible combination of X, Y, Z values with 0 less than X, what I guess it's less than or equals to 0 less than or equals to X less than or equals to W, which is width, 0 less than or equals to Y less than or equals to L, which would be length, and 0 less than or equals to Z or less than or equals to H. I don't know if that's less than or equals or not, because I don't know what they're trying to show you here, but whatever. Kind of doesn't matter. Where W is the east-west dimension of your room, L is the north-south dimension, and H is the height between the ceiling and the floor. Corresponds to a point in the room. Following program diagram illustrates how the coordinates are built up using the same color codes that Blender uses to label its axes. Red for X, green for Y, and blue for Z, or Z. I'll say Z, just this one time. An easy way to remember this, if you're familiar with RGB, not bed, B. RGB, not R, Jed, bed, is the order. Red X, green Y, blue Z. Oh, okay. The second picture, the X value defines a plane parallel to the west wall of the room. The third picture, the Y value defines a plane parallel to the south wall. And the fourth picture, the Z value defines a plane parallel to the floor. Put the planes together in the fifth picture and they intersect at a unique point. So, I see. Defines a plane parallel to the west wall of the room. X, left and right. Z or Z, up and down. It's not actually, it is up and down though, technically, I guess. Actually, this is actually supposed to be up and down. But if you were doing a 2D coordinate system, Y would be up and down, right? But Z is actually the, okay, so that's your X-axis, that's your Z-axis, that's your, okay, I get it. Alright. The solid coordinate system with the numbers corresponding to distances along perpendicular axes is called Cartesian coordinates, named after René Descartes. So if it's Descartes, why are we calling them Cartesian? Why are we calling them Cartesian coordinates instead of Cartesian? The 17th century mathematician who first introduced the concept. Legend has it that he came up with the idea after watching a fly buzz around his bedroom. There are other ways to define coordinate systems, for example, by substituting direction angles in place of one or two of the distance measurements. These can be useful in certain situations, but usually all coordinate systems in Blender are Cartesian. However, Blender switching between these coordinate systems is simple and easy to do. Now, the one thing that I always want to know is, okay, so is, I know what they said about Z being, I don't know, up and down. Z defines a plane parallel to the floor. Because I always thought Z or Z was into the screen or back from the screen. So negative Z would be this ways, positive Z would be this ways, and then you have your X and Y kind of like you do in a 2D coordinate system where, you know, X is this ways and Y is this ways, so up and down. And of course, in regular 2D raster graphics, the positive always goes down, but in actual Cartesian coordinate system, the positive goes up. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I assume that it would be the same way in 3D computer graphics. The reason that why positive numbers went down is because of the memory layout. Because one right after the other would be, it would scan from top to bottom. So your Y would be like boom, boom, boom. Like U00 would be at the upper left corner. Here, I'll put it in the upper left corner for you on the screen. And then it would go like that. So when you wanted to go down 2 lines, you go boom, 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 like that. Okay. So, negative coordinates. Can coordinate values be negative? Of course it can. Depending on the situation, yes, here we're only considering points within our room, but suppose instead of placing our origin at the bottom southwest corner, we put it in the middle of the room, halfway between the floor and the ceiling. After all, it's an arbitrary point. We can place it wherever we like, as long as we agree on its location. If the x-coordinate is the distance east from the origin, how do we define a point west of the origin? We simply give it a negative x-coordinate. Points north of the origin have a positive y-coordinate. Points south have a negative y-coordinate. Points above the origin have a positive z-coordinate. Those below it, negative z-coordinate. Let's see. Handedness of coordinate systems. And actually, I'm going to stop here because we're at the end of our time for this video. Stay tuned to where we go in the handedness of coordinate systems. Ooh, handy coordinate systems. Okay. See you.